Hey y'all, what's going on, family? It's your man B Miles coming to you live once again. With another live stream. I feel as though I gotta come to y'all with this message today. Because many of y'all need to hear this message. Stuff like that. And I feel I gotta come to y'all with this message. Hey, China White. Hey, what's up, Corn Thomas? Hey, good to see y'all. Good to see you, China White. Hey, REM. Hey, Francis Osborne. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Hey, Sarah Ash. Hey, peace to y'all. Hey, what's up? Hey, Copper Sunshine. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Def. Hey, Travis Jackson. What's up, bro? Yeah, y'all. I just wanted to come to y'all with this right here. Hey, Thomas and Joan. Hey, J. James and Joan Thomas. Hey, Life and Love. Hey, Tribe of Judah. What's going on with y'all? I just JJ Rock 973. Yeah, y'all. I just wanted to talk all day about you know something I've been dealing with for a very long time, and I'm quite sure a lot of y'all can actually relate to this message. Hey, A for Electronics. I just wanted to come to y'all, I'm saying, about, being misunderstood. I actually been going through this in life, being misunderstood. Sometimes it gets really, really hard at times when you being misunderstood and, nobody really understands you. They can't really relate. If I happen to do get emotional during this live stream, bear with me, y'all, because, hey, what's up, Reginald Burnett? Because sometimes, when I'm on here, when I do these streams, I'm on here venting as well. Thank you, China White, for putting up the link. Thank you, China White, for putting up the link. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you want to donate to the channel, China White, she put up the link for y'all and stuff like that. And I'm still getting myself ready, prepared to go see my father. Sometime like pretty much this month. I'm gonna go see him. But at times it could get really, really hard. Hey, Destiny Wilkins, when we're being misunderstood at times. Sometimes we feel outcasts. Sometimes we be outcasts. People don't understand. Who we are. A lot of times I go through that. Especially by me. Hey, April Payne, especially by me. You know, um, coming up as a child. I was always, I was always this bright kid. Oh, thank you, China White. Appreciate it, sis. And you could say things are getting better for me. Still fighting through a lot of blockages and stuff like that. And a lot of blockages I overcame. But I definitely overcome it more. Especially around the time we got this total solar eclipse, and it gets. The reason why I'm gonna talk about being misunderstood, because oftentimes I don't really think people really understand who I am. This is. I'm actually going to tie some things in with myself, and I'm also going to tie in some things about, being misunderstood. Because many times, I try to, express myself to people, and it always seems like, I'm not really fully understood at times. At times I really, um, I really get frustrated at times because I always want to, the man that I am today, I've always wanted to show the world who this man really was. That oftentimes it really felt like, oftentimes it really felt like, it was painful at times because I've always wanted to, like, show people who I really was, you know? And at times, hey, the Tristan Reed, but also often at times it gets real frustrating because, of, being, being different. Being different at times, it can be really, really tough. It can be really, really tough at times. Being, misunderstood. I've been through that a lot within my life. And oftentimes I try to, be this good civil person, but, be civil, be good, understanding. It always seems like, people, they always want you to understand them, but when it come down to you, they want to find a way to, like, dismiss your feelings. They never really understand, the kind of pain of what you have gone through. They never really understand, a lot of the cycles you have gone through, or even, just, try to, like, get people to understand, the kind of person who you are. I hear people tell me all the time they want to find out, man. A lot of times they, people prejudge you at times. At times they, like I said, they prejudge you all the time and stuff like that. And oftentimes they might not have a clue of who you are, where you come from, but they try to make it seem like, their struggle is worse than yours, or they try to make it seem like, you might not be understanding of certain things. It just, it gets really hard at times. Sometimes, when it come down to me in particular, it's not me playing the victim, but it just always seems like, especially when I try to express myself, I always get cut off, or people want to dismiss, or they always want to make it seem, you know what I mean. Sometimes I just rather people to just, just be quiet. You know what I've seen over the years. It just seems like everybody is so quick to, like, listen to, like, reply, but not listen to understand. And I feel as though, I really feel as though sometimes we so quick to listen to understand. I mean, listen to reply, but not understand. What's up, Dion Covington? And I think that's where a lot of people get it twisted and mixed up, because we never really know what a person is going through or what they have gone through. And hey, Dallas, say, we just don't know what the kind of situations they've been in, the kind of choices that they had to make, or why they had to make them. But it definitely does, it definitely does get hard, especially when you really want to express the world. You know, I always wanted to express to the world who I was, and show the world who I was. But it always, right, exactly right, the Tristan, right. It's always you, but it's never them. And exactly, and it gets tired of dealing with people. It can be very exhausting at times. I get exhausted because I be trying. People say they want to know the real me, but in order for you to know the real me, man, I feel that I try to tell people, man, before I explain to myself that, in order for you to really get to know who I am, man, you gotta just take the time to listen. You know, we gotta listen between the lines and stuff like that. I feel as though that people just really need to just really take their time to just listen. Instead of trying to, like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind people, tell me if I'm wrong and stuff like that. But if you really want to understand who I am, I would just say, really take the time. I'm not a hard person to get along with or to understand. I'm a very loving, charismatic, outgoing, outspoken person. And sometimes I feel as though people, they just, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I don't know, it might be me. I just feel as though, people just have a misunderstanding of me at times. I get tired of, like, explaining myself over and over and over again, especially when I'm growing, especially when I'm taking time to myself. A lot of times that's all I really want. A lot of times that's what all of us, a lot of us we want. A lot of times that's what we want, is somebody to just listen, to understand. You feel me? Thank you. Right? Just listen. Don't talk. Just listen. Really, get an understanding of who I am as a person. Because I've dealt with that so many years. People always want to tell me, like, tell me what's going on, but every time I want to explain to people what's going on inside, they will call me crazy, or something is wrong, or they try to make it seem like they understand. But until you really understand who I am, you gotta listen. You gotta see what kind of shoes I had to walk in. You have to really understand that, the travel, where I went through. Sometimes understanding a person, you don't need to always reply. Sometimes it's great for people to just understand, just listen, even if you don't understand at that time frame. Sometimes it's just best for people to just shut up and listen. Just be quiet and just listen to what people have to understand. Listen to what people have to say so you can understand. Now I really understand what women go through and why they try to tell men just listen to what they have to say. Because in many cases, man, you never know what you could be missing. You never know what jewels I can drop. You never know what kind of things I can bring to the table or what kind of value that I have. Because I know my potential and I know my value, but sometimes I will admit, man, sometimes I really feel misunderstood or unappreciated at times, because at times I go through that struggle. I've always wanted to show people, the real person who I was, but it seemed like they always want to tell you, oh, show me who you really are. Once you show them that, then, then they want to start, bashing you, or they want to try to tell you what's going on or what you need to do. But, it's frustrating at times. It's frustrating when you try to explain to people who you are, and it always seems like it's never good enough. That's right, yeah. And that's one of the reasons, you know, when I do understand it, I really get right, yeah, man, I really get tired of that at times. I really, what I mean, sometimes, sometimes people need to be heard. Sometimes it's just best to just listen to what people are going through to like really fully understand, why the way they are. You know what I'm saying? Why do they act the way that they act? Why they do, what I mean? Why do they shut down? It's a reason why. The reason why I shut down because I just feel like, sometimes my words are not even, what I mean, are being heard or being listened to. People always want to know why you quiet, why you shut down. It's a reason why. Because you know what I mean? Like I really understand, you know what I mean, how people really feel sometimes. I understand why women feel the way they feel. That's because they want somebody to just be able to just listen to understand them. You know what I mean? Sometimes I really understand what women go through, man. Just shut up and listen. Sometimes your words don't need to be critiqued. Sometimes your words don't need to be lectured on. Sometimes a person just wants you to just listen to what they have to say. I understand what my grandmother told me years ago. She said, "You're my favorite grandson." And I said, "Why?" She said, "You're the only one in my family that will sit there and listen to what I have to say." And at the same time, man, I really understand that. You know, Destiny Walkers, I mean, just people in general. Sometimes I just rather people to just, what I mean, just listen to what I have to say and just, just get a greater understanding of who I am, who and why, what I mean, who I am and why I'm the way I am. When at times, especially when, you've been through a lot, you try to like tell people your story, and it really gets frustrating when, your story is not being told, and people always want to question, well, why don't you tell me anything? It is a reason why, because you're not going to understand it anyway. Especially when I'm trying to tell you a part of my story, and what I mean, I'm trying to tell you the story. Do you know how much? Yo, let me tell y'all something, right? Do you know how much I get a joy of just telling y'all these things? I get a joy because it's like I get a chance to vent. I really get a chance to like vent. I really get a chance to like release things that no longer serve me. You know what I'm saying? I really get a chance to like express the way that I feel. I'm telling you, man, by me doing these streams, I feel a lot of times complete because I get a chance to vent. I get a chance to cry. I get a chance to express who I am. I really get tired of people asking me to express who I really am. That once I do it, then, oh, you being too cocky, or you this way, or then they want to change me. You know what I'm saying? It's like 1 minute, what I mean, you want me to tell me who you, tell you who I am. The next minute when I do, then all of a sudden now I gotta make changes. It's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. And I really get tired of that. If you really want to understand the person who I am, you don't take the time out to just listen. You know what I mean? Listen to like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, listen to my story, and I really understand why I feel the way that I feel. Why? That's all I'll be asking. I'm not trying to keep on explaining myself all the time. It's a reason. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? This is the reason why, one of the reasons why I started this channel, because Not necessarily I want people to just understand me, but I really want people to, like, you know what I mean, go deep inside of the mind of B Miles. Inside of this mind, man, right inside of this mind is so much that I have to offer. I know my value, I know my potential. But sometimes I just want people to just shut up and listen. Just be quiet. Sometimes it's best to just be quiet and just listen. Sometimes I don't need, sometimes I don't need to be lectured on certain things. Sometimes I don't need to be told, what I'm saying? Like, oh, I know this, I know certain things. I know that. Sometimes I just might maybe want to talk to just have a conversation with you. Do you know how much healing it is just by expressing things? You know what I mean? Now I understand why certain strangers might come up to me to talk. You know what I mean? They might feel comfortable just releasing certain things that they have gone through or gone through. You know what I'm saying? Like Vincent is such a great thing. It's hard, when you're being misunderstood and when nobody really take the time to just say, like, you know what, man, like, but let me just sit here and listen to what they got to say. I remember this one time I prejudged this woman, but when I sat down and listened to this woman, she said, do you know how much I needed this? Just by me sitting there and listening to her. It was a great thing. It was a greater understanding because she had a ear. Sometimes it's something, right? Sometimes we don't need people to, like, critique our problems or what we need to do. Sometimes we just want a person to just use a ear. Just use your ear. All we need is an ear. You got two ears and one mouth for a reason. Sometimes, right? Sometimes when I'm telling you something, it doesn't require an answer. Sometimes it just requires you to just listen. Hey, Virgil Kendrick, just listen. You know, I've been misunderstood all the time. And sometimes that road, it can be a lonely road. It can be a very lonely road at times. It can be real tough at times when, you feel misunderstood. There was a song that came out years ago talking about, do you know how it is to be misunderstood? Do you know how it is to, like, what I mean? It's like, do you know how it is with them to feel like you in the dark place when you try to express, how it is to be like, of like dealing with the death of a mom. Losing the losing the life of a loved one. People, people got to learn to, like, understand, and just listen and stop prejudging and stop thinking that you know everything. Sometimes sometimes it's not always about you. It's not about, trying to, you know, how can I explain it? Sometimes we don't need, sometimes we don't need people to just, like, always respond. We got to learn to listen more to understand than to reply. Everybody is so quick to reply. But you know what I noticed? The ones that are always quick to reply, a lot of times they don't follow their own insight. I know Lamont H. I know. And that gets tough. You know, I want people to, like, get a greater understanding of who I am. And if you want that greater understanding, it's best that you listen. And I know all of us have gone through that and are going through that. That's been a part of one of the things why I shut down and I stay to myself because I feel like I'm not appreciated and valued. That's right. You got two ears and one mouth for a reason. You know, it's, you know, it gets rough on me at times. I've been dealing with this for quite some time. Sometimes I like to be alone. Sometimes I like to have my own space. That's when I go within myself. That's when I learn more about myself. It's nothing personal against you. Sometimes I just rather be left alone so I can recollect myself and recharge. You know, that's why I love doing these streams because it lets me know that I'm not alone in this world. This is like therapy to me. I like being alone. I love being alone at times because I get a chance. Hey, Emil. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, that's when I find my inner peace. That's when I start really, understanding myself even more. A lot of the things that I like and a lot of things that I don't like, you know? That's what people got to understand. It's like, don't always tell me, I got to tell you what's going on. But once I tell you, you always got to critique. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you prejudging me. You know what I mean? It's like you always got to critique something. You always got to tell me something. But, you know what I mean? And then you want to critique it. Then you want to prejudge. And then you want to say something bad. But it's like, it's almost like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You know? Exactly. Right. Exactly. Dawn, daughter of the Most High. She said, I had someone close to me and I didn't understand that when I needed to talk, I would tell her, could she lend me an ear and just stay quiet and listen? That's right. Exactly. You know? And now I don't mind people telling me when I'm wrong or when I got to correct something. But if I'm telling you something, I just need your ear right there to just understand, to just listen. Sometimes we did, sometimes we don't require an answer. We just want you to listen and understand. Sometimes it's not, and I will admit, sometimes being alone is not easy, but I understand sometimes why I like to be alone. It's because I don't got to deal with the bullshit. I don't, you know what I mean? Thank you, Jamal the Messenger. Right. Don't ask a question of you if you don't want the answer. And especially when you're not going to listen. I get tired of that shit. If you want to know the real me, if you want to know the real me, man, take time to listen. You never know what you might be missing. Thank you, Francis Osborne. Francis Osborne, right. Sometimes we all need somebody to listen. You know? We all need that one person that we can listen to. Or somebody to listen to us. You know? And sometimes, man, yeah, man, sometimes, being, misunderstood and outcast, it can be a lonely road at times. It seems like everybody else is being heard, but when it come down to you, they want to dismiss your feelings. They want to, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like they want to dismiss your feelings, or they think they understand, but it's like, no. In order for you to really understand certain things, you have to really listen and really listen with and to like really understand. Even if you might not understand right then and there at that point, at least I know I had your ear. At least I know I had your ear. That is the main point. Exactly right, Jamal the Messenger. Right. You gotta wanna understand. You gotta wanna understand. You gotta want to listen. And stop cutting the people off. Stop cutting people off, man. And you think you understand, but yet you want to critique. That's why I say sometimes it's better to just shut the fuck up and listen. Sometimes it's better to just shut the fuck up and listen and let the person get it off what's on their chest. Because we never know what a person might be dealing with. We never know what people might be going through. And a lot of times they rather, you know what I mean? A lot of times they rather just have an ear there to just listen to what they have to say. I get tired of that. Keep on trying to explain myself to you when you don't want to listen. Well, why do you know what I mean? Well, why are you so quiet? Because you're not going to understand anyway. Thank you, Michael Skerlock. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Shotgun Shogun 305? That's all I want. That's all what we want. If you want to have that greater understanding, but when I'm quiet, you always wonder why I don't want to say anything. It's a reason why. But if I'm going to talk, it's not going to be about no bullshit. I went through that a lot. People always want to question, oh, what you doing? I'm doing this, but why you want to do this? Why you want to do that? Why you want to do this? Why you doing that? It's because what I want to do. But the same people that want to question you, they always want to put on their insecurities on you. And I get fed up with that. You know? I try to tell that to people all the time, man. Right, right. I don't tell people my plans, no none of that stuff. Right. Sometimes silence is golden. Right. Thank you, Seth. You want me right. Sometimes I get tired of hearing a whole lot of mouth. Right. Same thing. Sometimes I don't even want right. Right. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't even want to like, you know what I mean, hear a lecture. Sometimes I just rather you just be there to even listen. That's very important. We so quick to reply and critique everybody else's problems, but not our own. Yeah, thank you, Thaddeus Scott. Right. They think they know what's best for you. But many of times they be the same people who don't even take the time for themselves. I'm gonna say this, be careful people always give advice. A lot of times people that always want to give advice, they not following that shit they self. They be just as fucked up as you, if not more fucked up. I like, yeah, exactly right. Thank you, Young PZ. Right. This is it's therapeutic for me. This is therapeutic for all of us. You know? I gotta stay on my course. I gotta stay on my square. And I'm not gonna be around individuals who's not understanding of that. Because sometimes it makes me feel like my words are not appreciated. You feel me? It makes me feel like I'm outcast. I'm gonna do a super chat, y'all. You know that yeah, man, that really bothers me at times. Because if I'm going to be appreciated, a lot of times I'd rather you just go ahead and listen. Thank you, y'all, for the donations. Y'all appreciate it. That's all I be asking. You know, because coming up, man, like because being misunderstood, it has a lot to do with us being outcast. It has a lot to do with us being outcast, being misunderstood. People, they want to perceive you as one way, but not even knowing like what what I'm saying. It's like not even knowing what you have been through, why you are that way. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, man. All of us have a story, man, and you never know. Yeah, man, it's like you never know, man. You never know like what chapters. You never know what's in the chapters that might apply to your life. You know, you never know what chapter of the book that you might read about me or another person that might touch or affect your life. Yeah, I feel you, Shotgun Shogun. Right? Yeah, man. That's why. Yeah, that's why I always kept to myself, cause I always felt misunderstood. Always felt outcast. This ain't me playing the victim. I always felt this way. Because I will admit at times, man. I will admit at times we get different. It does get hard at times because you don't fit in. You know what I'm saying? Because you might be different. You might talk different. You know what I'm saying? Nah, don't, genius expert. It's tough at times, man. It gets real tough at times. Thank you, Michael Skurlock. Yeah, it definitely gets tough. Hey, Aaliyah, thank you. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, and that's why I love doing these streams because I get a chance to like really, speak my mind. Oh yeah, Young Peasy, no doubt. You know, and I'm glad that so many of y'all feel this way. I'm really glad a lot of y'all feel this way. Cause I will admit, man, it's not easy. Right, that's right, Cool J 87. Right, it's like they never really know till they walk in your shoes. Even if you haven't walked in my shoes, at least read the story. Read the book of Brandon Miles. Read the book of the person. You know what I'm saying? Read the chapters. Everybody so quick to look at your cover, but they judge your cover, but don't want to read the chapters of the book. But that's where you get a greater understanding. If you don't understand something, try to find out and just listen. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes we don't need a mouthful. We don't need to be lectured. We don't, you know what I mean? We don't need to be told what we need to do. Sometimes we just want you to like, all right, okay, you know what I mean? And just understand or and overstand and understand, and right then at the same time, that person really feel you have some advice and then you can maybe, come around with it. But you know what I mean? People, people they so quick to critique about about your life and what you're going through or what you've been through. You know, I go through that all the time with people. That's why sometimes I shut down. That's why a lot of times, man, I shut down and not say anything and be to myself and be distant. Because I say it all the time, explaining yourself is draining yourself. And I don't feel like keep on explaining myself to people. Because I tell a motherfucker real quick, I can do bad all by myself. With me, myself, and I. With me and myself and I could do bad all by my goddamn fucking self. Trust me, I can. Because I've been like this way for a long time. I will admit sometimes I might go through lonely periods, but they don't last long. Right, Linda, right. I'm the same, but I think more clearly when I'm by myself. You know? You know? I really get tired of people just automatically dismissing or cutting off or you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this, you gotta do. I understand all that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going to be doing something, internalize something, you got to understand that if I'm alone and I'm taking my time alone, that means obviously I might be taking in what you're saying. Sometimes people can be a bit overwhelming. Sometimes people got to learn to just fall back. Exactly, young piece of right. It's all about what they can use for you, right? Sometimes it's better for people to just fall back. People got to listen to that song by Monifa. It's just one of them days. I want to be all alone when I'm feeling inside. I get where she was coming from, but sometimes I just need that time alone to maybe go into my craft, to maybe go into my studies. Sometimes I might just want to be alone to just take time to just treat myself to something. You feel me? Sometimes I like that alone time. Genius expert, that's not the point. Just listen. See, you're missing the point. Genius expert, we already know that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes if I am talking around people, sometimes I just maybe want to just have a conversation. I want you to enjoy the conversation. So that way, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can actually really learn about who I am. Thank you, DJ Phyllis, I am. Thank you, China White. Thank you for the link. You know? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I like that. You know? Sometimes I want to be alone. Sometimes I don't want to be around a whole bunch of fucking people. I don't. And I told myself 2019, I really want to spend more time, you know what I'm saying, more within self. Because over these last couple of years, while you've been on this journey with B Mouse 84, I've learned a lot being alone by myself, doing these live streams, doing these videos, taking what you've been telling me, Right, thank you, email. Right. Being alone helps you to regenerate and recover from stress. Exactly. Sometimes people don't know when to fall back. You know what I mean? Right, King Kraken, right. You want to learn a person, ask them for a favor. You know? Yeah. You know? People, people, you know what I'm saying? People be wanting to know why, but once you start telling them why, then they gotta cut you off. I gotta cut you. You know what I mean? They want to cut you off, or they think they understand. 9 times out of 10, you probably really don't understand what that person is trying to tell you. But maybe if you just keep your mouth shut, use these two more than this. People so quick to you know what I mean? People so quick to critique you on things or always respond. I don't need your reply right now. Just fucking listen. Just fucking listen. You know? And it's always the ones, who want you to listen to you and listen to them. It's like, you know what I mean? I get tired of humbling myself and people not doing the same thing for me. I get tired of that shit. I get tired of always the one listening, always the one you know what I mean? Always the one I gotta do this, always gotta be the one taking constructive criticism, but the same people, they can't take it their damn self. That's why I say you gotta be real careful about people who always want to give advice. Yeah, you feel me? Let's show right. This is for people in general. This applies to people in general. Because when I was coming up, I've always been this vibrant, charismatic, animated type of young man. I've always been this way. I've always been a loving person. I'm a very charismatic, loving person. This is who I am. And I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to change the way I talk or the way I walk. You know? I'm not going to change that. Oh, thank you, China White. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid of advice. None of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I just, you know what I mean? I just want people to understand the same thing. Like, if you want me to listen to you, you got to do the same thing. Do the same thing as well. Like Jay-Z said, it costs you nothing to pay me no mind. It costs you nothing to pay me no mind, but guess what? It costs you nothing to listen. Like I said to all my ladies out there, to all the queens on the chat, I understand what y'all mean. I understand now more what y'all mean. I really understand that. What y'all mean. I really understand now. I really do. About when you say, I just want you to listen. I really do. Because being misunderstood at times, man, people don't know, people sometimes, man, they really don't have an idea the kind of road that you've been down, the kind of sacrifices you made, the kind of choices you had to make. They don't know the kind of ups and downs you've been through. They don't know the kind of strength it took for you to get what you are. They don't know. Thank you, Aaliyah. They don't know the kind of tears you might have cried. They don't know what kind of pain you might have felt. Just in case, I'm not stressing, bro. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, I'm just talking about being misunderstood. People they don't know the travels you've been. You know, they don't know the kind of trauma you might have been through. You know, they don't know, you know what I mean? It's like they really don't know the depths of your soul. They don't really know and understand, you know what I'm saying, what goes into your brain. They don't know, you know what I mean, what kind of toxic negative energy you might have been around. They don't know the kind of people you've dealt with, right? They never walked in your shoes. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the kind of suffering you've been through. They don't know the kind of things your family has said to you or done to you, especially when you lose a lost one, especially when you lose a loved one, like a parent or somebody you was close to. They don't know that. They think they know. You know what I mean? I had people tell me, you know what I mean, things about mom. I said, bruh, my mom is the respected dead. Well, man, my mom died 10 years ago. But you said, bruh, it's not the point. Respect the dead. You know, people don't have no fucking empathy no more. They have no sympathy anymore. People have forgotten what it is to be human. They don't know. They don't know sometimes the kind of struggles you might go through day to day. You know, my mom is gone. From time to time, I struggle with that. My grandmother is gone. Sometimes I struggle with that. I'm about to reconnect with my father. They don't know what kind of struggle is that. You feel me? I've been through pain and suffering. They don't know how much pain that is and what it does to the psyche. Because I had suicidal thoughts at one time. I was ready to check the fuck out of here. If I had done that, y'all wouldn't know my name. They don't know that. What you know what I mean? The depths of the pain or the struggle that you and I might have been through. The toxic energy, the negative energies that we face with, the demons we had to face, outside and in. But in order for people to really get an understanding, they got to stop prejudging and they got to stop judging the book by its cover, but learn to read the chapters. Yes, and I went through mental abuse and spiritual abuse with family. You know, you know what I mean? I had to fight a lot to the point where I dealt with other people's opinions so much to the point where I believed it. And I ran from myself. Because it was hard trying to express self. And every time when it was expressed, it was always being suppressed. You know what I mean? Abuse comes in many ways. You know? A lot of people are broken out here, man. A lot of people are broken out here because they are not heard. People got outcries out here. That's right, Tiffany Johnson. Right? It's called being gaslighted. Hey, Taylor. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard at times, man. Especially when you're being gaslighted. You're dealing with people that's narcissistic. Sometimes people think they know every fucking thing. know, but I'm fighting out of it. Exactly, Chief Roger, but we gotta fight the hardest. People just don't know, man. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know, and I fight hard to keep myself balanced. I fight hard with that. I fight hard with that. Hey, KG's views. Thank you, y'all. You know, I fight to keep my head up, to deal with those negative forces. I know what it's like being in a deep, dark place where it's like no one is around you. When no one is around you. When your family don't understand you. Friends don't. When you feel all alone. This ain't just the dark night of the soul. This is some tough shit. And I fight every day. I fight every day. Thank you, King Kraken. You know, many times I do feel alone. Like I said, being alone, it comes with a balance. Thank you, Michael Skurlock. Sorry to hear that, Tanya Thomas. Because I'm fighting through, you know what I mean? I'm fighting through all of those. I'm fighting through many things I've dealt with. I'm fighting through that, of holding myself back. Because I ran from myself and I kept myself suppressed for years. And I told myself I'm no longer going to do that. You know? Yeah, man. It's being misunderstood, man. It's not an easy thing. Hey, Two Feathers Chata. You know? Sometimes I just, sometimes I just want to pick up and run away. You know? It just, it gets hard on me at times. You know? That's what I've been focusing more on, to dive into that passion. Thank you. Thank you, y'all. Yeah. I'm glad that everybody on the stream feels the exact same thing. And I'm glad that all of us, are being reminded that we're not alone, because we're not. We're not alone. Yeah, but but I tell myself it's all right. It's gonna be all right. Because it just get hurts when you don't feel like you appreciate it. You know, even including me. Y'all know Francis Osborne. Thank you, brother Nubian. Thank you, Michael Skurlock. Because I'm finally hey, what's up, True Elohim? It's not easy. Yeah, KG's views. You know what? Yeah, I need a vacation. I need a vacation. I ain't gonna lie, I need a vacation. I need a vacation. You know, but I definitely going back into my craft. That brings out the best in me. But I'm yeah, y'all. I'm glad that we had this talk right here. I get a chance to share my thoughts with y'all. This has been very good. This is very good, man. Yeah, Chief Rising Boy, I'm at to come to Phoenix out there. Do I talk to myself? Sometimes. Yeah, true Elohim. I feel you. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing, man. Just doing that. Y'all, man. And like I said, y'all, I'm glad we had this talk. Thank you to everybody, what I'm saying, for the donations and stuff like that. To donate to the channel. I appreciate it. And I'm go ahead and jump off of here for a while. Do some studying. Jump in the shower, do some studying and stuff like that. But I appreciate y'all a lot. Because this was like another, not necessarily event session, but, I needed this. I really needed this, and I'm glad that y'all needed it as well. And just understand that, even though at times we may be misunderstood, but the beautiful thing about it is that we're not alone. Hey, Pisces the King. We're not alone. And I'm going to jump off of here, and I appreciate y'all. One love once again, y'all. Peace.